Good morning everyone. Günaydın Baran Bey.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, sayın hocalarım.
Merhaba hocam,
Günaydın.
nasılsınız?
Teşekkür ederim. Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş bulduk hocam. Siz de hoş
Kamerayı
geldiniz.
açacağım da şimdi ayar yapıyorum. Bir
Yo
iki
yo
dakika
hocam, hiç
izninizi
problem
isteyeceğim.
değil.
Daha
Tabii
vakit var.
tabii. Var hocam. Ben
Heh,
Baran Bey'e
tamam.
birkaç şey soracaktım teknik olarak.
Tamam.
Sağ olun.
Ben o zaman size
Tamam. Tamam
geçiyorum.
hocam.
Tamam.
Sağ olun.
Merhabalar hocam, günaydın.
Merhaba Baran Bey,
Merhaba,
günaydın. Merhaba
Günaydın.
hocam. Günaydın.
günaydın.
Kusuruma bakmayın hocam,
Yo yo
kameramda bir
estağfurullah.
problem var ama yani buradayım
Yo, yo,
bilginizde.
estağfurullah. Baran Bey ben hemen sizi yakalamışken şey sorayım. Şimdi sunum sırasında hep olacaksınız değil mi? Herhangi bir teknik probleme karşı.
Evet evet
Aha,
hocam, ben
tamam.
buradayım. Ya elimden geldiğince yardımcı olacağım. E,
Tamam sağ olun Baran Bey. Bir de şey soracağım. Şimdi ilk başta 7 idi şimdi 8 oldu oturumlar. Hani 15'er dakikaydı. Orada bir azaltma olacak mı sunum sürelerinde? Ya,
hocam, ya süreyi aşmamak daha önemli. Azaltma gibi bir şey olmasın ama yani hani 20 dakikaya gitmezse süreler daha iyi olur. Genelde
tamam.
uzuyor bu şekilde. Hani uzamaması daha etkili olur bence.
Tamam o zaman yani 15 dakikada o
Evet
zaman
hocam.
biraz sunumun belki şey uzayacak yani süresi uzayacak bir sıkıntı olmayacak herhalde orada teknik olarak.
Yok hocam, zaten hani
Tamam
online bir oturum olduğu için zamansal açıdan hani sizin için
tamam.
çok sorun yoksa benim
Yo
için
yo
yok
hayır
yani.
hayır yok yok benim için de yok. Bir de acaba gelmeyen katılımcımız var mı onu göremiyoruz değil mi ya da gelmeyecek olan.
Hocam onunla alakalı yani hani katıldıklarında belli oluyor olacak.
Tamam
Ben herkese gerekli bilgileri ilettim zaten. Hani sempozyum programında da gerekli veriler mevcut. Ama arkadan ben onlara ulaşıp hani
hı hı hı.
o
Hı.
problemi çözmeye çalışırım herhangi bir durumda.
Tamam. Çok
Tamam.
teşekkürler. Baran Bey bir de son bir soru. Şimdi son gönderilen bildiriyi sona attık. Doğrudur değil mi?
Doğrudur
En son
hocam.
gün. Tamam,
Haha,
tamam
öyle olması
sırada.
gerekiyor.
Tamam. Tamam sağ olun. Çok teşekkürler.
Rica ederim hocam.
Fatma hocam günaydın.
Günaydın hocam.
Nasılsınız?
Teşekkür ederim. Siz nasılsınız?
Sağ olun. Bizler deyiz. Ester hocamla bugün
Merhaba.
beraber yürüteceğiz.
Ne güzel hocam.
Sizin zaten hocam ilk sunum olması lazım.
Evet.
Evet. Evet. O zaman güzel. İlk olmak iyi oluyor.
Öyle bir dersiniz.
Yani evet hani böyle en azından bir hemen başlarken sonra beklerken biraz daha belki bilmiyorum.
Yine de heyecan her türlü
Tabii
oluyor hocam.
tabii. Evet evet
Diyorum.
kesinlikle.
Tamam.
Ester hocam, Maria, Pia, Ester, Kristal'di. Doğru mudur?
Evet. Evet ama
Tamam.
ben Ester tercih ediyorum.
Maria'yı söylemeyeyim o zaman.
Yok hiç gerek yok hocam
Tamam.
gerçekten. Hem uzun hem de zaten sevmediğim bir isim.
Öyle mi? Tamam hocam. O zaman onu şey yapayım. Ama yanlışlıkla söylersem de kusura bakmayın. Hani
Yok
belki o
yok
arada
alınmam
gider.
tabii ki.
Ha, ha, ha, ha.
Sizce yani kendinizi yormayın hocam.
Yo,
Ester
olur
değil
mu?
yeterli.
Ester. Ben Üsküdar'a sık geliyorum ama aslında bir tanışamadık. Jürilere falan geliyorum.
Ben kaç ay önce başladım? Yaklaşık 9 ay. Bu yüzden belki beni
Ha
görmemiş
evet.
olabilirsiniz hocam.
Doğru doğru. Evet. Hayırlı olsun hocam tekrardan.
Teşekkür ederim.
Hı hı.
Ve genelde odadan çıkınca hemen öğrenciler bizi kilitliyorlar. Bu
Hı
yüzden
hı.
e,
Evet evet doğru. Hı.
hocam siz hangi kurumda çalışıyorsunuz? Ben okumuştum önceden ama bugünlerde
Evet.
o kadar şey geçti ki, o kadar yol geçti ki
Değil
herhalde
mi?
unuttum.
Ben şeydeyim, Beykent Üniversitesi'ndeyim hocam. Bilir misiniz bilmiyorum.
Evet evet biliyorum.
Şeyde Avrupa yakasında.
Biliyorum
Hı
biliyorum.
hı.
Ester hocam, siz bekleme odasındakileri kabul etmiyorsunuz değil mi?
Yok ediyorum şu anda.
Ha, onu ben yapsam olur mu acaba?
Tabii ki siz yapın. Zaten sonra sunuma yaparken
Evet,
birini
karışmasın
yani
hocam. Hı hı.
kaçırabilirim o yüzden.
Evet hocam, ben ilgileneceğim onlarla. Siz hani sunumunuza ve diğer şeylere ilgilenebilirsiniz. Ben buradayım.
Baran Bey, bu arada benim teknik olarak yapmam gereken bir şey olacak mı? Mesela ne bileyim izin verme vesaire gibi, onları siz halledersiniz diye düşündüm ben.
Evet evet hocam,
Değil
her
mi?
şeyi ben
Tamam.
aynen arkada ben kontrol ediyorum. Zaten şu anda kaydımız mevcut. Yani sadece bekleme odasındaki katılımcıları kabul edip hani bir problem olduğunda onların sesini kapatma gibi şeyleri yapacağım.
Tamam. Teşekkürler.
Ester hocam, bana hostluğu verebilir misiniz acaba? Sanırım size geçmiş. O yüzden ben co-host olarak atayamıyorum
Olsun.
katılımcıları. Onu bana verebilirseniz daha rahat olacağız.
Tamamdır. Nasıl yapabilir? Okey.
Hocam sağ tıklayın bana.
Evet, evet.
Aynen.
Baran,
Ho
okey.
host, host ol.
Hostia.
Hı hı.
Señor organizador. Evet, host yaptım.
Ben üçüncü sıradayım değil mi?
Hocam hemen bakayım.
Gerideyim.
Ee, evet hocam, üçüncü
Tamam.
sıradasınız. Hı
İyi.
hı.
Tamam.
Hı.
Ben ve Angela hocam Feride hocadan sonra. Merhaba Feride hocam bu arada.
Ha, merhaba.
Merhaba.
Kameramı ayarlamaya çalışıyorum ben de. Hadi
Henüz tam,
görüşürüz.
henüz tam uyanamadık o yüzden.
Olsun olsun. Senin konu da çok ilginç. Sufizm. Konuşuruz sonra.
Aslında bu
Ester.
Angelo hocamın konusu. Ben ona
Öyle
destek
mi?
oluyorum. Evet.
Süper.
Angelo hocamız bizim Sufizm ve cemaat.
Kim?
E,
Nerede o? Neresi? Türkiye'de mi?
e, Türkiye'de
Ben
çalıştı,
tanım.
şimdi İtalya'da.
Aa, süper. Konuşuruz.
Okay, no, biz Feride Hoca'dan sonra Natalya Grinçeva, ondan sonra doktor öğretim üyesi Harun Serpil,
Hı hı.
biz sonundayız.
Evet, evet. Sizden sonra da yine bir sunum daha olacak Ester
Evet,
hocam.
evet, bir
Hı
tane
hı.
daha.
Evet, evet. O da dün eklendi. Yani 8 sunum var toplamda bugün. Dün ben de kendim bildiri sundum yüz yüze. Gerçekten çok katılım çok yoğundu. Öğrencilerin de katılımı çok
Evet.
yoğundu.
Biz herhalde birkaç dakika daha bekliyoruz, değil mi?
Am,
Hmm.
Bilmiyorum şu anda nasıl? Herkes geldi mi acaba?
Fatma hocamız var. Sibel Hoştut.
Sibel Hoca yurt dışında görevde, sunumu ben yapacağım.
Ha, öyle mi? Tamam hocam.
O zaman Carolina Nogueira. Evet,
Yes, I'm
katıldı.
here.
Yes,
Sorry.
Hı
she is
hı.
here. Sorry, I'm switching to English.
Yes, please.
Feride Hoca is here too. Prof. Natalia Grincheva is here with us as well.
Hı hı.
Harun Serpil.
Ee, no, he's not here, I
No,
guess. Hı
not
hı.
no, not here.
He will come
Yeah.
in a minute. Yeah.
Hı hı. And final speech is Angelo Francesco. No,
Oh no,
no.
it's
Oh,
with
no, sorry,
me.
sorry.
It's with me.
Sorry, sorry.
There's
Uh,
another one after us.
yeah, yeah. Hı hı, sorry. The other one is Nora Barnux.
Hello, hello,
Hi,
I'm
Ah,
here.
Nora.
hello. Hello,
Hello,
Nora.
thank you for your
Uh, okay. Delma is here.
kindness to be here.
Uh-huh. Okay. And Rika. Rika?
Rika. I don't see Rika in the program.
Really? I mean, uh, doc,
Maybe.
Dr. Nora Barnux and Assistant Professor Delma Lila and
Uh,
Rika,
Zizan.
or I mispronounce, I don't know.
yes, okay, so she's my colleague and
Huh, is she going to come?
uh, yeah, maybe, but I will be the presenter
Huh,
today. So
okay.
okay,
Okay. Okay. Okay, doctor.
No, should be three
thank you.
scholars, but only one presenting. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I don't know whether to get started or not.
I think
Baran Bey, uh,
Yeah, I think we can start.
huh, okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start the session on new media and communication by welcoming you all. I am Assistant Professor Asuman Kutlu. I'm a member of Media and Communication, Beykent University. I'll be serving as the moderator of this meeting today. I also would like to introduce Vice Session Chair, Assistant Professor Pia Esther Cristaldi. She's a
thank you.
member. Okay, good morning, Esther again.
Morning.
She is a member of New Media and Communication at Üsküdar University. On behalf of all participants and attendees, I'd like to express my thanks to members of Üsküdar University for the conference that hasn't met but exceeded our expectations. And today, we have 8 presentations and 12 speakers from different universities and countries. They are all going to discuss new media within different perspectives. Before getting started, I have to give brief information about the procedure. Each speaker has 15 minutes and we have a question and answer sheet at the end. Please save your questions for the end when we have time for a discussion session. But of course, you may share any question in the chat as we go along. And let me get started with the session's first research. It is on bibliometrics, analysis, ethical issues of artificial intelligence in new media. The researchers are Dr. Fatma Yardibi and Associate Professor Dr. Sibel Hoştut. Dr. Yardibi is a doctoral researcher at Akdeniz University Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Associate Professor Hoştut is a member of Faculty of Communication at Akdeniz University. I think today Dr. Yardibi is going to present their research. And Doctor, stage is yours. You may begin. I think there is a problem.
Yeah, okay.
Ah, okay,
Uh,
now.
I couldn't permission in microphone, so now it's okay.
Okay.
How can I share my
I
screen?
think there
There's
is a
a,
button in the middle.
yeah, which is green.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Um, Our presentation, bibliometric analysis and ethic issue of artificial intelligence in new media. Artificial intelligence has become a common term in popular culture, science, and technology. Artificial intelligence tools emphasize social media platforms, features, and scale activities such as text and visual context creation, social monitoring, advertising management, influencer research, and brand awareness campaigns. With technology developing so fast and effective as all, it's crucial to make sure it's used safely. Ethical issues pertain to the values and moral norms of society. These issues are crucial in discussions about artificial intelligence and new media. Technological innovations often bring about ethical concerns. However, these concerns can sometimes be overshadowed by the challenge of technical developments. To ensure sustainable advancement in artificial intelligence, it is crucial to uphold human value and develop new technologies responsibly, considering their ethical implications. Recognize these needs, global AI ethics standards were adopted and signed by 193 member countries in 2021 as per UNESCO. This study utilized bibliometric analysis and descriptive statistics to explore ethical issues and AI and new media research. Descriptive statistics were conducted with Excel and SPSS, with bibliometric analysis employed SiteSpace and VOSviewer software. Visual mapping techniques illustrated connections and interactions among authors, journals, references, keywords. Various structural and temporal metrics assess network entirety and trend over the time. Bibliometric analysis use various techniques and analyze research achievement, topic development, and trend within a field. This method effectively explores and analyzes large volumes of scientific data, help us identifying emerging trends, topics, subtopics, and feature directions. Bibliometric analysis is popular in academic research because it efficiently processes large volume of scientific data and creates significant research impact. The study aimed to give a comprehensive overview of new media and AI ethic research. It will be detailed research, hotspot, publication trends, citation structures, authors, journals, and countries. We use specific keywords to find articles about the link between AI and new media and ethics-related studies. Initially, 1,508 academic studies were identified based on selection criteria. Following the determination of exclusion criteria and data extracted and recording process, 1,471 academic studies were identified. Our research questions: 1. The growth trend and key characteristic of publications on artificial intelligence and new media ethical issue. 2. The most influential journal, countries, and authors. 3. And the interactions between hot topics and the code document citation and keywords. Research question 1, the growth trend. The number of publication and citation distribution according to years in given graphics. The Spearman correlation coefficient is rho 0.932, indicate a strong monotonic relationship between publication and citations. The Spearman R square value is approximately 0.868, suggesting that The number of publications can explain about 86.8% of the validity in citation counts. General information, leading journal in the field are given in the table. Approximately 63% of study consists of articles. The most publication cited journal, the most publication and cited journal in the field are highly quality, quartile 1 and 2. There are mostly technological and science-focused journals. This shows that the current academic research environment is largely technological-based and particularly advances in areas such as computer science and artificial intelligence. On the other hand, the lower number of publications in the field of social sciences and communication indicates that these topics are still growing, and it is important to conduct more research in these areas. These studies emphasize that with the rapid development of technology, social and ethical impact must also be addressed, and therefore multidisciplinary studies must be increased. We analyzed the global contribution of study on ethical issue, AI and new media by country. The USA contribution to most publication 511, followed by China 209, India 153, and England 123. A total of 5,229 different authors published in this field. An average of 3.6 author per document collaboration in the field. Most active author, Namnam Chet Harry, leads research in the social dynamics and well-being laboratory, which focus on computational social science. It explored how social media data can evaluate personal and social well-being, emphasize ethical use to ensure privacy, validity, and minimal harm. Due to multidisciplinary nature of the study subject, a core author community couldn't be reached. The field is developing as a multidisciplinary field and seems to create its own dynamic over time. Identifying research hotspots on the subsequent cluster of the related research topic represent two of the most crucial aspects of bibliometric analysis. Keyword helps researchers find important topics in their fields. It is understood that ethical issues of artificial intelligence in new media research are addressed in the wide range. These topics frequently include machine learning, social media, deep learning, neural language processing, privacy, and ethics. It can be said that the keywords COVID and mental health reflect interest in the mental health problems during the pandemic. We can say that natural language processing techniques and social media platforms, especially Twitter, are crucial data source for research. A keyword co-occurrence network visualizations was created using VOSWeaver. Each node is the network represents a keyword. The size of node indicates the frequency of keyword co-occurrence. Citation burst is very important metrics. Keyword with the highly burst density are a great way to spot to large researchers support boundaries and trends. Federated learning is the way of training machine learning models without collecting data on a central server. This means user data is kept safe and secure. Federated learning can help with ethical issues in AI research. It can help with privacy, security, fairness, transparency, accountability, and user control. Keywords have been analyzed and mapped using timeline, cluster rumor detection, artificial intelligence, confronting digital challenge, big data, global politics, data-driven technology, and trust are active and will continue to attract interest and citations. We did document co-citation analysis to see how different studies and ethical issues of AI in the media are connected. The academic publications listed in the table are foundational work in the fields of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the study of missing information. The table lists the top reference with the strong citation burst and provide the base for future research. These studies show us some important things to think about when it comes to using AI and machine learning in new media. Privacy, data accuracy, the spread of misinformation, and bias are all issues that need to be taken into account. It is clear that AI development needs to be done responsibly and transparently and effectively addresses these challenges. The visualize of document co-citation analysis network is shown in the figure. From the early 2000 to the present, academic publication have changed from blue to dark red. Completely red nodes indicate studies with citation bars. The network generally consists of nodes in dark red tones, which shows that study in this field have intensified, especially in recent years. This shows the field is still developing and will keep growing. This phenomenon can be attributed to growing significance and impact of fields such as artificial intelligence and machine learning in the context of new media on the other technological applications. Moderate Q and silhouette value are greater than 0.7. These structural measures are indicative of the formation of network that can be divided into a homogeneous cluster. Document co-citation analysis cluster visualization is given. And the dependency relationship between the cluster are shown in the figure. We can see depression detection, network-based action recognize, user personality trees is dependency relationship between. Timeline, we show the evolution of cluster over the time. Cluster fact-checking message is indicative of the growing interest and research focus on combating digital misinformation, particularly through the detection of deepfakes. To sum up, the analysis shows a strong focus on technology and science with significant academic interest. However, the limited publication in social science and communication highlight the needs for further research in these areas. Promoting multidisciplinary approaches that include social and ethical dimensions is crucial. This integrated will enhance our understanding of the social impact of information and technology, leads to more holistic solutions. The analysis highlights critical issue at the interactions of AI and ethics, such as cross-cluster connections, algorithm bias, data governance, privacy, and the physiological impacts of AI-driven technologies. The result emphasized the need for multidisciplinary approach on robust ethics frameworks to guide AI development and demonstration, focusing on practical application, policy implications, and user-centered design help ensure AI benefits society while minimizing risk and ethical concern. Integrating AI in new media raises ethical issues such as bias, privacy, and cultural diversity protection. It is crucial to address these implications to ensure fair access and representation of as AI algorithms shape new media use. The future of AI integration in new media is promising with potential advancement in the personalization, ethic AI development, misinformation detection, cultural diversity, preservation, and integrate with emerging technologies. The vast data
Sorry,
produced.
Dr. Yardi, just a gentle reminder. You have just like 30 seconds remaining.
Okay, it's actually it's finished.
I also guess
Okay,
so, but to be sure.
Last, as we move toward a revolution, ethic issue must be evaluated from multiple perspectives to ensure a sustainability and inclusive future. And our references at that. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Doctor, for your contribution to understand ethical issues. I mean, related to artificial intelligence, and the data you provided is very significant in this respect, and it has enriched our discussions and broadened our perspectives about the ethical dimension we have never considered before. Thank you again for your speech.
Thank you for your listening.
And now we have another specific study conducted to understand crisis and organizational communication. Researchers, Professor Dr. João Simão, I hope is correct, and Dr. Carolina Nogueira, they are both members of Catholic University of Portugal. Their research focuses on a food retail organization to discuss fight against food waste. And Professor, we are eager to listen to your presentation.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen.
Okay.
Seu compartilhamento de tela está pausado.
Sorry.
Você iniciou o compartilhamento de tela.
Do you see the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Participantes
Okay.
agora podem ver seu aplicativo.
Okay, sorry, the Zoom was talking to me.
Okay,
And
no
this is my
problem.
presentation, right? Because I can't see you right now. Okay.
O algoritmo, Bursa saiu da reunião.
Okay. So I'll just start, okay?
Seu compartilhamento de tela está pausado.
Okay, so now I see you. Sorry, I'm just some technical issues. Maybe I will show the presentation like this because now I can see you and it's very confusing for me if I can see you. So we made a case study about a food retail organization, which is very common here in Portugal, which is Pingo Doce. I don't know what's the same comparison for you, but think about a big food retail supermarket chain, okay, for the starting point of this investigation. And we analyzed a crisis that was involving this organization. So to better understand the case study, I just show here a bit of the history and I can tell you a bit about it. So on the 3rd of August of 2020, there was a video leaked online that showed tons of food waste in the supermarket chain. And despite the very good practices and the sustainability preoccupations besides the organization, the video went viral and reached more than 1 million people in just 24 hours, which is a big number here in Portugal. So the next day we had many news articles in the media talking about the crisis. And they also try to talk about to Ping Doce, the food retail company, to get some statements. Of course, they responded, and we took those statements and a post that they made on Instagram to analyze the content and take some conclusions about the answers that Ping Doce chose to give to the consumers. So to better understand this case study and to have a theoretical approach rather just than a practical approach, we analyzed some of the major concepts in the area. So organizational communication was the first, and it was very important for us because we analyzed the concept of e-reputation, which is digital reputation, which was for me a big challenge because I've never studied anything like that, and it was very interesting, and there is not much research in the area, so that made it difficult to better understand and analyze. So the second topic was, of course, crisis communication. As you know, as you must know, Coombs is a very big author in this field. So we analyzed the theories, the main theories, reputations, repair strategies, and situational crisis communication theory, which was a big starting point for the methodology that I'm going to talk about later. And the last topic, which is very important for us as well, was analyzing case studies and trying to better understand the impact of sustainability and corporate social responsibility on the food retail sector, because food waste is one of the topics that is very important in sustainability when we talk about sustainability. So we tried to better understand these dynamics, and we concluded that the consumers nowadays are very keen on strategies that benefit sustainability. So that was very important for us. And I will just show you the results, which are, for me, it's very interesting. So to better understand the case study and with this theory approach, we had this opening question, which was constructed to analyze many variables, as you see. So how has Ping Doce food waste crisis of August affected the organizational reputation among consumers, and what lessons can be learned for future crises? Here we just analyzed the consumers part because it was the easy way, if you say, to choose one group of stakeholders, because to talk to finance or talk about other group of stakeholders would be very difficult for me and for my professor to approach. So to construct this opening question, we had 3 objectives. Understand how Ping Doce crisis was managed from inside the organization, so from a strategic point of view. The second was to understand the consumers' perceptions. And the third, as I said, was to connect the theory with the practice. So let's analyze the case study in the eyes of the situational crisis communication theory and have some conclusions to give. As I said, to respond to these objectives, we had 3 major methodologies. So we had an interview with the digital senior of Ping Doce. We made a content analysis with the Instagram post published by the food retail company and the statements to the media. And we also had a survey conducted between the consumers, which had 468 answers. And we also used SPSS to analyze these results. So just to give you a rapid summary of my results in the survey, the sample actually is 452 because like I said, we're just interested about consumers. And for me, these are the 4 major important questions that were made in the eyes of the situational crisis communication theory and the literature review that we made in the beginning. So did you remember this episode? Because this study was conducted last year and the crisis was in 2020, but the crisis was still important because it was on the pandemic and families were with some financial issues. And so the food waste crisis was a bit more important, still important, but more important because of the pandemic. So the opening question, did you remember this episode? The major said no. Could Pindos avoided the episode? So the attribution of responsibility, yes. The sample, so 96% of the sample said yes. Did Pindos take responsibility, the other level of responsibility? They say yes. My professional opinion, it's no, but we'll see. And are you still a Pindos consumer? They say yes. So they are still loyal to the brand, if you'd say. And one of the biggest results for me is this one too. Nowadays, do you think that Pindos products are still wasted? They say they are divided, but they say yes. So they are loyal to the brand. They think the brand is responsible, socially responsible and sustainable, but they still think the products, the food products are wasted. But they are still consumers, which is very interesting for me because the literature said otherwise. I think the price, it's the major thing that holds the consumers in this case. So just the results discussion by objective, for me it's easier this way. So in the interview, we could understand what was the strategy approach to this crisis. And they divided in 3 stages. The stage 1 was to verify the facts. So is this video real? And if it's real, is it getting reached by many people? So if there was just 1 video and 5 viewers, they would not respond to the crisis. They would not feed the crisis. So the impact of the video on the social networks, and as I said, it was major because the video reached 1 million people in 24 hours. And based on these 2 points, they made the decision to respond or not respond, which they did respond to what happened. So the second stage was, okay, so what are we going to say? And I understand that the organization made like a fast plan, but they also try to think medium long term. So they responded in the present, but then they launched the campaign in September in the same year. So 1 month later, that the claim was nothing is lost, everything is saved, which was a book for families to reuse food that they have on their fridge or in their homes to not waste food. So this is maybe critical because you're putting the responsibility of the food waste on the families and not on the supermarket. So you can say it's a bit tricky, but that's one of my conclusions. So the stage 3, they just monitor the situation. Talking about the consumers' perceptions, as I said on the survey, consumers attribute responsibility to the organization because they say organization could prevent the crisis, and they think the organization took responsibility for the episodes, in the statements to the media and the Instagram posts. And despite what happened, consumers believe the organization is still concerned about sustainability issues, despite they think that the food is still wasted. And
Sorry, doctor, just a
sorry.
reminder, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, merhaba.
So understanding and connecting the theory with the practice, we concluded that the predominant responses strategy was bolstering, which is adding new information and positive information about the organization to remind stakeholders of the good practices and the sustainable practice of the organization, particularly to the media, and which was a positive strategy because I don't believe that the reputation had many damage. And I think that the reputation prior to the crisis acted like a protective shield, as we know it's usual. So because consumers already perceived the food retail company as sustainable, and they had a good reputation in mind and perception about this brand, they are still loyal nowadays to the brand. So just to finalize, and these are just my 4 big conclusions. So as I said, I don't think that the impact of the crisis was that significant. I don't think that reputation was damaged, but I think that they should reinforce their apology, because if we analyze the answers they gave to the media and in the social media post, they never fully apologized, and they just tried to put more information in the statements, just to confuse a little bit, I think, the consumers. And still investing in social responsibility and sustainability, it's very important because they did it prior to the crisis, and I think that was a big shield for their reputation. So I would just add one more conclusion, because I couldn't find significant research about crisis communication in full retail industry, particularly in Portugal or Europe. So I think it's very important to make this a thing in the research, and I would think the community would value this investigation a lot. So for me, it's everything. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to
Okay.
answer.
Okay, many thanks, Dr. Nogueira. You addressed a critical problem, I mean, sustainability and reputation, and you studied them within a case study, and it's really detailed. I mean, you conducted surveys and also semi-structured interviews and also content analysis, so they are really significant. However, I was really surprised to see that the impact of the crisis wasn't significant in your conclusion. So maybe in the question and answer session, we can discuss it more. Thank you again, Doctor.
Thank you.
Okay, and our third researcher is from Turkey, Associate Professor Dr. Feride Zeynep Güder. She is also a member of Üsküdar University, and Professor Güder's research is on digital literacy, an essential component to engage with new media in an effective and safe way. But in specific, she focuses on the design of a critical digital literacy course for memory and culture, and I am really eager to listen to her speech about it. And Professor, the stage is yours.
Hello, everybody. First of all, good morning. I'm very happy to be involved with this course with these beautiful people. Let me share my screen and start my presentation now. You see my screen right now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. As you see, I'm the member of Üsküdar University, transferring communication faculty to the translation interpreting department. And these are my contact address. If you, at the end of the presentation, if you would like to, correspond me academically, you will be very welcome. And I would like to start any kind of international or national academic involvement. These are my research trajectory. I would link this to my presentation. I'm lucky enough to, thanks God that my career allows me, I reach at that stage that I can see my, multidisciplinary, how can we say, trajectory, and which was heavily criticized that what is your area? My area is multidisciplinary. I'm very happy to jump from one discipline to another. At least there is a blueprint behind all this multidisciplinary agendas that is related to my own, how can we say, academic agenda. And then today, I would like to share you the designing a critical digital literacy course, especially the importance of how we should do as a media academicians for memory and culture studies. So since the title of this conference is Data Colonialism, it is how we combat, how to fight against this data colonialism. As we all know, we are related to, now we enter to the critical digital literacy, and these are the courses that I give this 2 years to the, as a selective course to the, for the engineering students and the psychology department students, because the only students they can take these courses for, because the medium is English, and I wish the media students or communication students will take these courses as well. They are technoculture and critical reading, critical digital literacy, discourse analysis, and now memory culture and new media ecology. How I related to these memory states that I'm going to show you. So this study, I would like to share my experience, how I designed a course, the critical digital literacy, by having specific approaches to combat presentism and cynical attitudes in digital media. Presentism is a word that is related to, everybody knows that, just living at the moment, which we criticize heavily. Everybody is criticizing this point, but we don't know what to do in this case. And the constant, everybody knows here in this classroom, and related to these media studies, that we have constant and intensive updating of data input, and the popular narrators focus on the current situations that lead to cultural amnesia in society. The speaker before me talks about the pandemic area. Now, once we are surrounded by the COVID-19, for example, COVID-19 pandemic, and everybody is eager to now to forget what we lived in this time of the specific time of the period. And now we are all having a kind of cultural amnesia. This is not the amnesia here we are having. I'm trying to say is, how can we put our memory studies in this courses to create the awareness of those people in general, to have a critical thinking ability as well. So we have disconnect between the past, present, and future, because on digital media, we have a kind of, just focusing on the present situation. If the past is past has been narrated or by some perspectives of present situations, and without having any kind of the real context in the real, how can we say, narration. So the centralization of ideological perspectives in digital media content and the increase of generative AI are shaping this algorithmic culture. So we are all surrounded by this, and we are heading towards this algorithmic culture with poor memory, and we have a poor awareness of our cultural identity. For example, there is some specific Turkish cultural how can we say, ingredients that makes us us, but there is the point, the sharing or the content and everywhere in digital media is something beyond all these cultural identity. And now it is the hegemony of this digital media. So what to do for resisting presentism and cynical attitudes in this new media ecology? I believe that we requires a special sensitivity and awareness developed by all digital media scholars. So if I finish this presentation, I will try to write the paper of it on the importance of CD, critical digital literacy, from the multidisciplinary perspectives. And luckily, last year, let me share my screen. Luckily, I attended a camp in Şirince. I couldn't find the English version of it. It's Toplumsal Hafıza Kampı. It's a beautiful camp that we discussed what is memory and what sort of things that we can do. I recommend these courses for you, and they feed me by their references, and I really reached my reference frames. And then let's talk about, first of all, the significance of critical digital literacy. What I mean here, is the beyond media literacy. Well, once we talk about the critical digital literacy, it is, yes, navigating and understanding online information. Everybody is, familiar. These are the familiar and common topics. And digital literacy is the ability to access, evaluate, and discuss this digital information. And it goes beyond basic skills, and then we need to pay attention to the content of the digital landscape. So the proliferation of misinformation and fake news are, sticking us or putting us on the present situation at the same time without having any critical outlook. So these are the situation right now. And my humble solution to this problem is just to open a course and then try to create that kind of awareness. And believe me, at the end of the course, I met a wonderful presentations and homeworks, assignments, and then at least this mini, micro courses, or I call it niche courses, I reach that kind of awareness, at least with these students. But maybe we can widen this kinds of, attitude and approach to the other academic, area. So the educational imperative here, how can we create here? There are so many people are talking about the correspondence of the ethical sides of the AI, how we can survive in through or against the, for example, we have so many mind invasive technologies. This is another topic that I've been working a lot, but today it is not here. So the course aim I created in this semester, last semester, the name of the lesson is Memory and Culture in New Media Ecology. And in this course, the aim of this is to discuss human memory through the advances in technology and cultural transformations of contemporary society in digital networks. So the course, I designed the course to embrace both theoretical arguments. When I say the theoretical arguments, I gave them the references of Baudrillard and so many thinkers of the historical references, and the narratives in new media ecology. And also I add something from critical memory studies by Osman's collective and individual memory. And so these major debates and theoretical frames shape the content of this course. And this frameworks mainly analyzes this digital society, and this kinds of analysis by the students give them the meta awareness. This meta awareness is very important because you control yourself, you monitor yourself. This metacognitive awareness is the most important thing that we need to create in this sense. And then also I add some little, a little into the middle, some sociological, political, philosophical, and ontological, discussions onto this course. And I'm very happy to have, lots of people in the course, or the students are able to give their own reflection, because if they give their own reflection through their countries, for example, we have international students, so many international students taking this course, and they added the cultural amnesia that is going on in this course that they meet in their country. For example, the cultural trauma, or the trauma, when we talk about the trauma, collective trauma, they narrated what is going on in their country in digital media, and then the silent or the deafness of the digital media, for example, in Nigeria, or some slaughter that happened in their past, but it is not evident in this present situation, and so on. So the amnesia has been created by this digital media, and has been also advocated by the media, mainstream media. So we will talk about the impact of this digital culture, and how this digital media contents challenge the traditional notions of identity. When we talk about the identity, we need to pay attention to what do we understand by this identity, whose identity we are talking about. Are you really free from your digital identity? Is it possible to present yourself, your profile, in the real identity? And we are also criticizing the community parts. For example, academics, I forgot the name, gives the crisis food, I don't understand them. Pardon, I don't remember the real title of the presentation, but surely it's the food, something about the crisis food management. For example, the community attitude in crisis is very important. It is the part of the human memory. Actually, it is in our navigation, the first reflection that people can help. This is the cultural connection to everybody, intercultural connection to help the people when the crisis happens. So this kind of community memories are minimized in digital media. And the body politics, of course, there are so many body politics is going on, and that is going pushes memory of the those people that is using this kind of content. And we also have personal relationships. We need to pay attention to, in this course, same digital tools, and how to combat with imposter syndrome, and how can we give a real digital footstep, and do we have the right to be forgotten? When we talk about the memory, and also the opposite, the word for the memory is forgetting. What sort of forgetting that we can do with this digital identities? How can we allow people to be forgetting? Is there a kind of right to be forgotten? So there are so many issues related to these courses, and these are so rich that I'm just giving you the idea of what these 14 weeks. The whole semester is 14 weeks, and then we in each weeks within these lines of how can we say content, I added one topic to the another one. So, for example, we talk about the narrative genres, collective and personal memory. Some students focused on historical letters, And the specific topics are, for example, when we talk about the digital media, we have to pay attention that AI and high minds are the collective intelligence that connects the whole human analogous intelligence has been put onto this part. So the how is high mind can be used in the, or do we think that, are we facing a kind of threat that high minds, I mean the collective intelligence in artificial intelligence is fighting against the real human memory? So for example, are they going to be put, for example, the collective trauma, let me give you are we going to put our collective trauma on artificial intelligence? Are we going to put our cultural heritage, which are not tangible, intangible memories, can we put on that? Or what are the roles of myths? So are all those myths are the silent myths that we are not facing, or the lost myths that shapes a country's culture? These are all the stuff or the topics that I've been doing, but I don't know how much time I've left, Suman Hocam. Just warn me, I talk too much.
Sorry, no. Okay, I regularly check, but 2 minutes.
Oh my
Feride
God.
Hocam.
Okay, I just started. All
Okay.
right. If you are interested in this topic, I would be very happy to give you the idea. I'm just give you the idea. These are the methodology and techniques that I use. And for example, just to make it very simple, the first 6 weeks, I just give them these main, these main keywords, and by this key, steps, by introduction of the course, give them these topics, and I talk them about what is media ecology, and they know that we are going to talk about the memory types and what is the collective memory and so on, and we shape every step of this course. And then I'm very happy that, for example, we talk about the healing discourses. How can we improve healing discourses in digital media? And then the role of redemption, for example, how can we create a peaceful discourse to diminish the grudge and forgiving, stuff. And then I organized the course with these, like, now let me reach one. Okay, these are the basic outlines of my syllabus. This is a very niche course, and I arranged in every part of it. And I would like to, restart this one with the other students and other academics. If you want to be involved, this is an open call for you for this memory culture in new media course. I would be very happy to work and add some spice on it. This is a very rich course. Maybe we can organize a workshop related on this, course. And if you have any question, I would be very happy to answer right now. Last but not least, this memory studies are, memory types and memory things is all related about our forgetting styles. We have to also pay attention or how we forget things, how we are, shaped, how our cognitive sides are shaped by these current situation in digital media. These are my, academic communication stuff. You're very welcome if you are interested in this topic. Yes.
Thank you, Professor Güder. It was also very inspiring for me because I have been giving digital media literacy courses for 3 years. And yes, I have also many international students at university. So I took my notes, and if you, conduct a workshop, I'd like to participate in it. And
Yeah.
I am going to put cultural memory and cultural heritage in my weekly pacing. I mean, in the content of my course. Thank you for presenting us a very different perspective for the course.
I would be very happy to do any kind of, collaboration. That's why we are here, to meet the people and to introduce what we are doing.
Yes, it was
And
very productive for me. Thank you so much,
okay,
hocam.
thanks a lot.
And our next speaker is also from Turkey, Assistant Professor Dr. Harun Serpil. He currently works at Anadolu University. The title of his study is Multicultural Communication and Life Skills in Higher Education Students. Now, again, we are going to discuss the curriculum, I guess. And his research centers around the multicultural communication, life skills, and perceptions of higher education students. Doctor, you may begin your presentation.
Okay, how do I go to share? How was the
Uh,
link?
can you share or
There's share. Okay,
Mhm.
can you see it now?
Just a minute. Yes, now we can.
Okay. How much time do I have?
15.
15.
15
Okay, so
minutes.
I may have to rush through it a bit, to
Okay,
to make sure I'm covering all the presentation.
no, I'm going to make a kind reminder.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, so actually, this study is based on a course I'm teaching at the undergraduate level at the Faculty of Communication here at Anadolu University. I was teaching last year. I was teaching a group of 15 students at this School of Communication Sciences, Faculty of Communication Sciences, and the name of the course was Multicultural Communication. So as part of the course, I wanted to learn about their progress and talked about their experiences with multicultural communication. So, and then I'm also interested in life skills of university students. So, and here I'm proposing that actually intercultural communication or multicultural communication is also life skill, because especially considering that Turkey has become so cosmopolitan, so diverse demographically, especially after 2014, with the Syrians and Iraqis immigrating temporarily, and then maybe some of them permanently becoming part of the country population, Turkish population. So we feel like, as Turkish people, we feel like we have to overcome these culture problems all the time, not only as part of our work, or also in daily life, because you have to interact with people from other cultures in Turkey, especially if you live in big cities like Istanbul. So just a quick intro to the subject. What is intercultural communication as part of the life skills? So it's the skill can be described as competence also, and which is shortened as ICC, intercultural communication competence. It is the ability to communicate effectively and appropriately in various cultural contexts. So there are some numerous components of ICC, which I will show pretty soon in the upcoming slide. Some aspects, some dimensions of it. But most important components of it include motivation, self and other knowledge, and tolerance for uncertainty. So, and as you know, with the world becoming increasingly interconnected and globally connected, individuals are more likely to encounter people from diverse cultural backgrounds in various settings, including academic, professional, and social environments. Being able to effectively communicate across cultures is becoming crucial for success in such contexts, and especially for university students and graduates of higher education. So, what about life skills? What is a life skill? That actually is a set of basic skills acquired through learning or indirect life experience, which is important. These are actually learned through direct life experience, life skills, which enable individuals and groups to effectively handle issues and problems commonly encountered in daily life. So, and some of them are like, they include creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, ability to communicate and collaborate, which is especially related to our subject here, along with personal and social responsibility that contribute to good citizenship. So basically, they're pretty much, they match or overlap with essential skills for success in the 21st century or 21st century skills. And they're very important to have successful and employable individuals for societies. And specifically about higher education, or when we specifically focus on the university students, we see that the campuses are actually a microcosms of broader society, bringing together students, faculty, and staff from diverse cultural, ethnic, and linguistic backgrounds. So intercultural skills are vital here. And again, professionally, and when we think about the careers after graduation, these skills, ICC skills, are important because they increase the chance of employability and effectiveness in multicultural work environments. Also, another important point here is that intercultural communication is not just language proficiency. It involves understanding cultural norms, values, communication styles, and worldviews, which actually require some degree of daily life or real life experiences, improving life skills. And in this way, when an individual improves his or her intercultural communication skills, that helps him or her navigate cultural differences with sensitivity, respect, and effectiveness. So, and it's quite often that there are some misunderstandings between cultures. There are some conflicts or some kind of some problems, maybe even some fights when different cultures come in contact or clash due to differences in communication styles, norms, and values. But when with ICC, people can navigate these challenges. They can have better empathy, patience, and better communication in case of misunderstandings. I'm just summarizing the information here. So especially like public spaces, when we think about life skills, I mean ICC as life skills, public spaces such as parks, restaurants, transportation, public transportation, people meet other people from other cultures. And here, actually, it's important to have ICC skill, intercultural communication skill, so that people can avoid unintentional offense or discomfort. So, for example, some cultures are not, mindful of personal space. So, for example, for an American, a Turkish person is too close or too, like, we may be a kind of invading his or her personal space. We may be too close for somebody from an American culture, or let's say Scandinavian culture. For a Norwegian, a Turkish person can be too close. So this is one example. And culture, customs, local customs, knowing about them are also important in terms of intercultural communication. Or maybe a neighbor moves in as your neighbor, becomes a neighbor from, for example, a Syrian may become your neighbor, and you need to know about like how to communicate with this person, considering his culture, which is a real life situation. So I want to talk about a little bit about the components or dimensions of intercultural communicative competence, ICC. So actually, the components are basically linguistic, social linguistic, and discourse competence. We can talk about the key three key competence dimensions. And also, we have, for example, skills of interpreting and relating, critical cultural awareness, curiosity, openness, discovery, interaction. These are all the dimensions of this model, as described by Byram in 2009. Another model is a pyramid model of ICC. Here, actually, there are both external and internal factors. For example, there's first of all, a person needs to have some attitudes, for example, respect for other cultures, openness to understanding other people, curiosity and discovery. And then the person builds onto this, builds on knowledge and comprehension, listening, observing, interpreting, analyzing, and relating skills. And then comes desired internal outcome and desired external outcome. So this is the pyramid described by Deerdorf in 2006. So also, I want to briefly talk about previous research results, similar research. So Bloom and Miranda found that participants' intercultural sensitivity scores showed a little significant difference after a short-term study abroad program. So maybe it was too short. Maybe short programs may not have any actually important effect on the perceptions or attitudes of or intercultural sensitivity. However, was in 2017, found that pre-service teachers as university students, they regard themselves as others in teaching abroad context at the beginning, but their intercultural competence and ICC were enhanced through the program. So there was an effect, there was a positive effect. On the other hand, again, similar to Bloom and Miranda, Gordon and Novita found that taking an intercultural course didn't make any statistically significant difference. One found that stereotypes would help language teachers develop their ICC level. So, but having an explicit instruction on stereotypes improves ICC. Sierra Guedo and Nevada Lopez found that intercultural competence scores improved with the help of international courses, study abroad programs. Gomez found that actually news article discussions help students ICC development. Lance found that students were at ethnocentric level in terms of development. I mean, university students. Ethnocentric meaning, their attitudes and thoughts are centered around their own culture. So they think, for example, Turkish university student thinks in terms of his or her Turkish culture. From that lens or perspective. Lay found that English language teachers, ICC, the pre-service ICC levels were at the moderate level, similar to the ethnocentric level. And female students had higher ICC scores, which is similar to what I found actually in my qualitative study, which I'm going to talk about soon. And finally, FEM and FEMS showed that universities' ICC scores were not high. However, the students in private universities had higher scores compared to public universities. And private university students had more intercultural interaction opportunities, and they were more willing to engage in intercultural communication than public university students. Coming to Turkish research findings, Tosuncuoğlu 2019 found that in Karabük, which is, Karabük University is very popular these days, if you're following the local news for wrong reasons. And here, the research, Tosuncuoğlu's research highlights the importance of cultural competence. And here, actually found that language learning helps cultural learning or intercultural competence. So Özdemir found that Facebook group discussion improved intercultural communication effectiveness after intercultural instruction. So it was actually Facebook group discussion actually was better than in-class discussion group. So it's an interesting finding by Özdemir. So actually Facebook group discussion was better, more effective. Mutlu and Dollar found that learners were aware of importance of intercultural competence, but desired more exposure to intercultural aspects in their English courses. Well, in 2022, it's a more recent one, found that there's a need for curriculum design activities that focus more on intercultural aspects, focusing on students learning English, German, and French at a state university in Turkey. And also their culture intelligence affects their intercultural competence. But I don't want to go into the culture intelligence aspect here. So that's another important dimension of ICC. Here, okay, so the current study, my study is a phenomenological study, cross-section study, where I used a semi-structured interview form and had a descriptive analysis by following Creswell's procedure. And the questions I asked was to my students was, what different cultures have you interacted so far? And secondly, what have you learned from these interactions? And third, as a result of what you've learned, have your prejudices increased, your bias increased or decreased?
Doctor, sorry, a kind reminder, you have 3 minutes left.
Oh, okay. So 10, it was a small class, so I tutored 10 students. So I need to, I'm gonna try to just focus on the most important burning ones.
Please.
Yeah, so actually some students talked about, when we talked about intercultural, they talked about, like, for example, Kurdish people in Turkey, but some of them talked about other countries, you know. They had some experiences in Europe. They traveled. They were exposed to other countries' people, international experiences. So they were able to also talk about that, not only their intercultural experiences in Turkey. For example, she says that she grew up in Mersin, my hometown, and I've been exposed to different cultures since childhood. This is because Mersin has a significant population of Kurds and Arabs. Before interacting with them, I had high levels of prejudice due to how neighborhood we lived in. They were often marginalized and portrayed as something negative to us. We were told to stay away from them and that they could harm us. However, as I grew older, I stopped paying attention to these statements and started interacting with them. As we interacted more, our exchanges increased and my prejudices gradually decreased. I came to understand that people from different cultures also have their own moral and human values and lead their own lives. So, she felt remorseful. She felt bad about initially approaching them with bias. So this is a student expressing, in the growing understanding through life experiences. Another student said that because I grew up in a multicultural society and had the chance to travel, I've had the opportunity to interact with people from different cultures. I encountered cultures such as Russian, Greek, Syrian, Arab, Circassian, Iranian, and Iraqi people. Some were long-term, some of them were brief interactions. And they provided me with many learning opportunities. And it says that the most significant thing I've learned is the breakdown my prejudice and expose different perspectives. As I met people from different cultures, I've become more understanding, open-minded. So there's a growth of understanding progress, increasing ICC. And I've learned that, I'm talking about the last paragraph here, just to speed up. I've learned that there are not only behavioral, but also physical differences. For example, people from different cultures can have different physical reactions. While hugging and kissing may be perceived as closeness, intimacy in Turkish culture, it may not be welcomed in Russian culture. So even the way each culture shows love can differ. Even eating habits show differences. Apart from the variety and differences in food, eating habits can also differ. While breakfast holds great importance in our culture, dinner can be more important in other cultures. So, okay. And then the same person actually, Russians, despite living in cold weather, love walking. They even organize events for walking and sometimes activities like mushroom picking. Walking and these activities have become part of their culture. So our walking habits may seem strange to them after seeing mild weather in our region. Additionally, there are many differences such as strict rules among Circassians and eating culture among Greeks. So as you spend time and generally want to get to know those cultures that are rushing, you also learn to respect the differences. So again, she talks about the ICC competence increasing, ICC skill increasing along with exposure to or interaction with other cultures. Another student, this is a male student. He says that due to my profession, I had the opportunity to interact with people from many different cultures. I'm a photographer and wedding cameraman. So I've encountered all kinds of people from both Turkish culture and foreign cultures and had the chance to chat with them. To give an example, during the filming of a wedding for a conservative family, I was taking photos. I was giving instructions to adjust people into the frame, saying things like move to the right or left. At one point, I gently guided the bride's shoulder to the right. The groom, noticing me, roughly approached me and pushed me, causing me to fall to the ground. The bride and her family moved away, and the groom and the people around him started attacking me. The wedding hall and officials tried to intervene and calm the situation, but chaos ensued. The police arrived and took everyone to the police station, where we had to stay until no one wanted to press charges against anyone. What I learned from this incident is that it reinforced my prejudice against people. It may be right or wrong, but experiences like these shape our lives and perspective. So actually, we don't have time, so I'm going to move. So the other students, the other 8 students talk about their progress, their interactions. They learned a lot from other cultures. They give examples. But I want to just show you something also different. Okay, so this student, for example, this student says that first, he said that I can say that my interaction has been limited to individuals belonging to different culture groups within my country so far. Generally, I've communicated with individuals from the majority culture, I mean Turkish culture, but I'm aware that I don't have any prejudices against individuals from different culture groups. Although they may have different languages, religions, races, and social structures from mine, we ultimately live in the same society, and I believe that we should not harbor prejudice in this regard. So this is what he said initially, but then he says that the same person, the same student says that for relatively underdeveloped communities that have not reached the same threshold of civilization as ours, so says that they are not as civilized as us. For example, talking about Syrians in Turkey, they have been an influential force trying to pull back our country's people who have already devoted time and effort to civilization. So this kind of a, condescending, I mean, he's looking down on the other cultures. He thinks that they are inferior. They're not civilized enough like Turkish people. Moreover, here, he says that moreover, the atmosphere of distrust they have created is worrying about for our nation. By not being citizens, they have made significant profits by not paying taxes and continue to do so. This is obvious fact and evidenced by the mere opening of 17 shops in a street in the neighborhood where I spend my childhood. So he says that they're actually getting rich. They open 17 shops in the same street. They've shown that they are not helpless and needy. I hope that they will leave my country and my nation alone as soon as possible and reach their beautiful country safely, becoming individuals who add value to their own country. So as you can see, actually, he's being sincere here. I think being honest and showing that he's racist here, this student. But initially, he said that he respects other cultures. But so there's a contradiction here. So the nature of qualitative data, you need to be careful about the analysis, because if you just look at this part, you think that, oh, this is great. I mean, this student has a high ICC, intercultural competence. But when you hear about these, the same person, he comes across as racist, just the opposite. So I just want to show you this in my data. And also, just quickly, if I just a little bit more time, I am trying to find, there was something about NIDE. And another student said that, actually he was, here. I think this is also interesting. I want to show you the last from the data, and then I will just give the conclusion. So when school shifted online due to the pandemic, I started working in the textile industry. Since the textile sector is widespread, I believe I met many people from different cultures, especially talking about actual cultures in Turkey, not other cultures like from other countries. Especially lately, since we started working in textile recycling, I become quite familiar with the culture of NIDE. So because usually NIDE people from NIDE, which is a city in Turkey, southeastern city. I've analyzed their general similarities, differences, and what topics they prioritize to some extent. Their loyalty to their families and relatives was quite different from the culture I experienced. However, their work ethics and morals were different from the Bursa culture. The city he is from, which is Bursa, which is quite different. Yet another example is from my childhood. When I played football, I encountered various cultures in the teams I was in from different cities. For instance, when a teammate from there told me about the ongoing honor killings in Doğu Beyazıt, it didn't seem believable to me until the incident was fully explained. Although this piece of information didn't create prejudice in my initially, I think this is the important part, I eventually realized that they did over time. I mean, he became less competent or less his ICC dropped, interestingly. For example, when I met someone from NIDE, I noticed how conservative they were without even engaging in any dialogue with them. I mean, before we talking to this person, when the person says, I'm from NIDE, he has bias against this person. This incident affected every aspect of my life. My tendency to be judgmental about people has increased significantly in recent years. I believe that prejudices increase the more you get to know people. So he reports something totally different from other participants, other students. So there are also negative examples in my data. I mean, there's not always a progress. Sometimes they develop a negative attitude based on their experience with other cultures or subcultures. So what conclusions can be made out of these results? So actually, cultural interaction is important, except for two students who reported that their cultural interactions caused more negative stereotypes. Challenges while many of the participants expressed desire to overcome prejudice and preconceived notions, some acknowledge challenges, as I showed you negative examples. Some also report challenges or negative situations. For example, social stereotypes, personal biases, limited exposure to diverse experiences. And again, despite these differences, there is an appreciation of finding common ground, shared experiences, and recognizing similarities across cultures. So actually, most of the students, like 80% of students, reported something positive. I mean, in terms of real life experiences leading to better ICC. And also they talked about personal growth. Engaging with diverse cultures help them have personal growth and development. That was another finding or conclusion. So what are some suggestions based on these conclusions? So actually, in terms of improving intercultural competence or skills, there must be more cross-cultural experiences like participating in multicultural events, international student clubs. I'm talking about university students or campus life, and many cross-cultural projects can also help. Also, integrating intercultural education into curriculum will help. Workshops, seminars, or discussion groups that promote active listening, empathy, and perspective taking will help these students. And finally, providing learning opportunities like study abroad programs or service learning projects will help them get into engage with the real life settings, and some hands-on experiences will help students have deeper intercultural understanding and better ICC. Okay,
thank you,
that's
Doctor.
it.
Okay, I think you are done.
Rushing.
Okay, but thank you. Really, the findings you presented are very interesting. I mean, the findings of semi-structured interviews. Maybe this shows why we need, multicultural dimension in our curriculum, because we just focus on the advance of technology, new media. However, we ignore the cultural part of teaching, or learning. So really, thank you for your presentation. Maybe we are going to discuss much in our question and answer session. And now, Assistant Professor Maria Pia Esther Cristaldi, and she is also a Vice Session Chair, and Angelo Francesco Carlucci, an independent researcher. They are going to do their presentation, and their paper focuses on the use of digital communication tools by Turkey-based Sufi Brotherhoods. And Doctor, stage is yours this time.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you to all of you for being here with us today. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so as our professor Asuman anticipated, today we are going to discuss about how two of the principal Turkish Sufi brotherhoods, the Ismaila and the Menzil, use their digital communication. And I'm going to share with you the starting point of our research. The advent of new communication technologies has accelerated the spreading of Islam on a global scale, as it has been analyzed by Oliver Roy in Globalized Islam, which is not a recent work, but we wanted to mention it. During the last decades, the shift between analogical and digital has affected Sufi brotherhoods as well in their organization and in the way they try to spread their teachings and their ideology. So these religious groups have found themselves having access to the internet either to survive or to expand their network. And they use both their official websites, which is something that both the Menzil and the Ismaila do, as well as social media to interact with their already members or to get new members. So basically, we started our research from two questions. Did this new way of creating communication, of establishing communication, change the interaction between the master and the disciple in the relation, in the practice of Sufism? And how do these Sufi brotherhoods use the online communication tools? And we try to explore and find answers to these questions through a qualitative analysis of the content shared on social media by the Sufi brotherhoods. And we also try to understand how they adapted to the virtual world and how they also adapted their teachings and practices. And now I'm going to leave the floor to my colleague Angelo.
Yeah.
Are you ready? It's your moment to shine.
Yeah, thanks. Let me give you. I'm sorry if I will and not introduce myself and stuff, but I think that our time is quite limited, so it's better if I start to speak and then maybe we will talk later. So let me give you a little historical context because actually my colleague has already introduced the issue. I mean, actually, we have to think that, for example, many professors, as Isaac Weizmann argues, that the influence of Sufism in Turkey peaked in the years around the First World War. However, the advent of the Republic and its hostile attitude towards these religious groups, coupled with the repressive measures implemented against them, has led to a decline in their popularity. And in this new context, Sufis have to find other ways of maintaining their influence, passing on their teachings, and supporting themselves to exist alongside secular institutions. And they did it. I mean, they managed to adapt to the new reality and undergoing an evolution that has progressively transformed them because, firstly, from being popular mainly in the countryside, they have gradually reintroduced themselves among the urban population. And secondly, they have evolved into groups with complex structures and highly ramified economic interests. They also have expanded outside Turkey, for example, extending in all those countries where Turkish immigration is most present, for example, in the Balkans, in Germany, or where Turkey has exercised its soft power, for example, in Central Asia. The flexibility shown by the Sufi brotherhoods is also reflected in their embrace of the new technologies. Right from the advent of informatics and internet in Turkey, the Sufi groupings began making profitable use of both of them. Because we have to think that actually Sufi brotherhoods are not at all adverse to technology per se, but rather they are ready to embrace it to achieve their goals. It has happened, for example, for printing in the Ottoman Empire. But concerning the use of internet, in the 90s, the Sufi Brotherhoods welcomed the use of these technologies by using the internet to share information about their teachings and about their activities. So they become able to reach a larger number of disciples and even those communities of migrants who were living abroad. I said before, there were Turks living in Germany, for example. And a further boost to the use of the internet came in the early 2000s due to further demographic drives. And in those years, for example, explains Francesco Piraino, the first social medias like Facebook appeared, and the children of the first generation of Turkish migrants began also to use them. And conflicts over identity issues and feelings of insecurity within migrants mean that many of them turned to Sufism and to find an outlet, and the possibility of accessing mystical teaching, even remotely, proved decisive for the further spread of Islamic mysticism among diasporic communities. For a Sufi brotherhood, the internet performs three different tasks, three different functions, let's say. It provides information about Sufism and increases the visibility of the brotherhood. It bridges the distance between disciples and masters, and it offers to the students who live far from the lodges, let's say from the Zavieler. I'm sorry if I use Turkish terms, but Zaviye, for example, is a small kind of monastery. And so if a student lives far from this kind of structure, using the internet can still take on with its religious activities or reaffirm them, for example, participating by Skype, by Zoom. So most of the Turkish Sufi Brotherhoods offer a variety of services related to the online religious experience, like consultation of religious texts, videos of lectures, videos of speeches, and even contacts for addresses of lodges, addresses of sheikhs, and all these services help to tighten the ranks of disciples and fortify their sense of communitas, meaning their sense of belonging to a group. This is how the internet and social media have contributed to reverse the decline of Sufism. However, not all the brotherhoods use the internet in the same way. In many cases, like for example, the Mezil community that will be examined later, the use of the internet is incidental to their activities in the offline world. Here, the Sufi community carries out its religious or social activity first offline, to the benefit of local participants. And the internet is thus used as a kind of, let's say, sounding board for the brotherhood's offline activities. And so this kind of online Sufism remain confined to a limited set of functions, because disciples of this kind of brotherhood are encouraged to physically attend meetings or rituals, as such groups often lack platforms and tools for online participation. There are, instead, other Sufi communities whose activity takes place almost exclusively online. This is the case of the group that places a lot of emphasis in the use of digital tools to keep their disciples engaged. And these instruments range from online Sufi courses and forums to the apps for the smartphones. In this case, it may be spoken of a true digital Sufism or cyber Sufism, and such a phenomenon, identified among others by Milad Milani and Adam Possamai, refers to those Sufi groups who allow their disciples to live their religion exclusively from afar. There are therefore Sufi students who, although professing to be disciples of a Sufi brotherhood, have never made a pilgrimage to a lodge or a monastery, have never participated in a collective prayer, or they have never participated offline. This kind of Sufism has brought Islamic mysticism to a different level of diffusion and popularity, but it means also that it has a cost. Because, for example, Selami Varlik alleges that Sufi digitalization has led to an inevitable weakening of the authority of the sheikhs and an impoverishment of the religious doctrine, because online the sheikhs often have no real contacts with their students and not even with their deputies, making any call to order difficult. Many Sufi deputies therefore attempt to emerge by contradicting established master or traditional doctrines. The possibility given by the internet for sharing messages, ideas, and opinions have often resulted in a challenge for authority. And for example, let's say Ziul Haq Hidayat, among others, asserts that digital Sufism or cyber Sufism is unable to represent the complexity of Sufism as thought by sheikhs in the real world. The large number of disciples spread across often distant locations, the need to simplify and adapt their teachings to a wider audience, and the consequent adoption of a consumerist approach to religion have impoverished Sufism. And to show this, I'm leaving the floor to my colleague. Esther, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I'm going to share the results of our content analysis. I'm really sorry. It's been 3 days, very, very intense days. So in order to analyze the communication strategies and the contents of online communication of Turkish Sufi brotherhoods, as I said before, we focused on the communication strategies of two of the most important Sufi brotherhoods present in the Turkish context, the Ismaila and the Menzil. And our content analysis focused on the posts shared by the two Sufi brotherhoods on social networks such as Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and on messaging channels such as WhatsApp and Telegram. However, both Sufi brotherhoods do not use all this social media. As I will show you, some of them use predominantly YouTube and Instagram, while some others tend to update their Facebook profile as well. Or in the case of Menzil, they do not have a TikTok account. Furthermore, we analyzed the contents on the official websites, and as regards the time frame considered within the scope of this research, we focused on the contents shared by these brotherhoods in the last year and a half. And we decided to focus on this period because it was a crucial period for Turkey, in which a series of events followed one another, from the earthquake to the elections to the worsening of the financial crisis that began in 2019. As for the Ismaila, there is a video published by them on Instagram in 2023 where they explain actually why they are on social media, why they are so active, because as we're going to see, they are really active on social media. Essentially, the Brotherhood claims to be active on social media because their aim is to protect Islam from those who are trying to spread the prejudices and false myths about the religion. So here we already see that they are not using their social media profiles to establish a communication with their disciples, but it's more something about institutional communication. So this goes already beyond the limits and the boundaries of the communication between master and disciples. And therefore, the analysis of the contents shared by the Ismaila Brotherhood reveals that the posts are not only related to religion, as I'm going to show. For example, their official website is a mix of professional and religious contents because in the Turkish legislation, the Sufi brotherhoods are perceived as foundations. So therefore, they are organizations. They are organizations which carry out specific activities in terms of humanitarian aids, in terms of work, in terms of institutional relations, and they also have economic and administrative activities together with religious activities. So here I shared a screenshot of their official website, and for those who want to check it later, there is also here the address. I mean, I'm not trying to advertise them at all. The Brotherhood has also two official Instagram accounts. One is called Ismaila Derne and the other one is called Ismaila Jami. Contents posted on Instagram accounts are again contents about religion, politics, posts about the activities of the Ismaila Sufi brotherhoods in Africa and Central Asia. In general, they are active in places which are devastated by war and famine and other catastrophes.
Sorry, doctor, I have to interrupt here. We have
Yes.
just 5 minutes left.
Oh, amazing. But I think that the speaker before us took a bit more time. So if we could take 5 minutes more, I mean,
Maybe if we can, wrap up.
no, I
Okay,
cannot wrap up
because
because I can.
because
There is
we
a
have
lot.
another speaker following you, but
Yeah, I know, but the person before me took some more time. That's why. And also there are several posts about this brotherhood and their impact on the Turkish elections, because as we are going to see, the Sufi brotherhood tried also to have an influence on the choices of their disciples and in general on religious electors. And if you want to know more, we're going to share later our research with the when the papers related to this conference are going to be published. Also, they are really active on YouTube, where we find again the same type of contents. We have contents about religion, we have contents about politics. There are contents which are related to more practical aspects of life. So they really try to direct the life decisions of their disciples and in general faithful Muslims. This profile also shares contents related to the Turkish administrative elections between March and May 2003. And why I focus constantly on this aspect? I focus on this aspect because, as we say, the Sufi Brotherhood should focus about religious teachings, mystical teachings, but then we see that they also try to interfere with other spheres of the life of people following them. And they also intervene frequently on other political issues, such as the relations between the Turkish and the Jewish world, and how Muslim people should behave in this precise historical era with their with the Jewish world. The Facebook, I mean, I can skip the slides about the Facebook page and TikTok and Instagram and Telegram, because actually the Ismaila use these pages just to repost the content that they have already created for Instagram and for YouTube. So there is nothing relevant about that. If we switch to the Menzil Sufi Brotherhood, we are going to see that they also have a website, but it is really different than the one of the Ismaila, because first of all, they do not share their social profiles on the home page. Of course, they're also classified as a foundation. So in the corporate section of the website, we find the statute of the foundation and other documents. From what we can see from a content analysis of the web page, on this website, we find mostly cultural news about cultural activities, religious discussions, seminars on religious topics, and so on. So it is quite different than the one of the Ismaila, as it is also different the content of that they share on YouTube, because they tend to share much more contents about religion rather than on politics and other social issues. Another interesting aspect is that the Menzil have a TV channel, which is a lot more active than the one of the Ismaila. And an interesting aspect of this is that these channels are not visible only in Turkey, but they can be accessed also from other countries. And therefore, they tend to diversify both the language choices and the contents of these channels, because you can find content also in German. You can, and I think that in a while you will be able to find also contents in Italian, because they are really active in Italy too. And the last channel that they launched last year, Samarkand Way, is visible in Italy as well. However, going to the analysis of this of both channels, we see that there are some differences and that there are some points in common. For the Ismaila, is really easy to track their social profiles, because first of all, they are listed on the official website, and they also have all the same name. All the names bring you back to the Ismaila concept. But in the case of the Menzil, there is already a difference, because if the Sufi Brotherhood is called the Menzil, then their TV channels, their website, and their social media carry the name Samarkand, which is different, and only people who are really acquainted with the Sufi Brotherhood are going to know this difference. It is also really difficult to follow their social media profile, because they have different accounts for each type of content. So they're going to have an account for books, Samarkand Kitab. They're going to have another one for the TV. They're going to have another one just for children, Samarkand Çocuq, and so on. And going to the aspects that they have in common. An interesting aspect that we found in the communication strategies of both these Sufi brotherhoods is the parallel that they create between the religious identity, the historical identity, and the cultural identity, which tends to mix Islam, the Palestinian issue, and the Ottoman past, as well as what does it mean to be Turkish. So, going to the conclusion, if on the one hand the use of the internet has helped to preserve Sufism, and social media have facilitated the connections among communities of disciples that are increasingly larger and distant from one another. On the other hand, this has also changed, in the Turkish case, the meaning of Sufism. Actually, if we go to explore the history of Sufism in Turkey, we're going to see that it has always been like this since the very beginning, since the Seljuk era. But I want to focus only on a global perspective and on a digital perspective. As regards the Ismaila and the Menzil Sufi brotherhoods, the analysis of their form of online aggregation and communication strategies has shown how elements belonging to three different universes of discourse, such as religion, politics, and history, contribute to determining a concept of shared identity. And we think that this is an important aspect because it allows individuals to create points of contact and identity sharing, even with Turks residing abroad, both migrants or second-generation citizens. In this way, that identity bond that is built, that sense of imagined community, which is typical of contemporary forms of aggregation in the globalized world, is established. In the case of virtual Sufi brotherhoods, even if they are based in Turkish cities, the true spiritual identity and cultural center exists in the logical and ideological space that it is built around shared mythologies about what it means to be a faithful Muslim, to what it means to be Turkish, or to be a heir of the Ottoman world. It does not matter whether these mythologies are based on historical facts or beliefs, just as it does not matter that it is often no coherence between historical truth, religious beliefs, and political reality. In this regard, we can talk about a concept of fluid identity whose characteristics are often negotiable. In this sense, it is possible, we think, to imagine social media as a great theater in which the construction of this fluid identity takes place. And we choose to use the use of metaphor because a theater is actually where the actor always repeat the same scene with the same lines, and they tend to reproduce always the same skin, as it happens with the homogenization of contents, even among those produced by the same user. Cultural identity and identity space has no temporal and geographical boundaries, and religious communities can expand in this digital environment. And our last question was, does this change the relation between master and disciple? Yes, of course, since the relation is not based on purely spiritual matters, but it goes very deeply into the social and cultural life of the disciple. We really thank you for following us today and to attend this presentation. And if you want to read our results in details, I think it's going to be published in August. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Cristaldi and Carlucci. Yes, we are eager to, read the results because you showed us how religious groups use social media to foster their community. So I think the data is very significant. Maybe
Thank
you
you.
can conduct semi-structured interviews with those people, who follow social media, in this group. So this is another, perspective maybe it can present. I don't know.
Yes, it will be. Thank you for your suggestion. It would be amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as we proceed, today's final presentation is going to be conducted by Assistant Lecturer Nora Barnix, Assistant Professor Delmalila Dominek, and Rika Lijeza. They are all members of Ludovico University of Public Service. They will be discussing digitalization and artificial intelligence studies. And who is going to present? I can't see, but Nora, maybe?
Yes, hello.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Nora again.
Yes.
If you are ready, you can start.
Yes, I'm ready. And thank you for your attention and your kindness and the opportunity to be here. So can you see the presentation now?
Yes, we can.
And can I ask feedback whether it works? Just a moment. Does it work?
And now we can see the screen.
Can you see the second slide or no?
Just the results of the research, the title now.
Okay. Now, okay. So
now
this
the second one.
It's good.
We can see.
Okay. Now, so thank you for being here. And so I am going to be the presenter and the speaker today as the representative of the Ludovico University of Public Service and the Experiential Digital Education Laboratory, and in which the leader is my colleague, my researcher colleague, Dr. Dalmalila Dominek, and the third author of this presentation is Rika Legeza, who is a language teacher, and we all come from the Ludovico University of Public Service. And now I'm going to focus on the presentation with the title of Study of Digital Flow in Higher Education, and I would like to show you the first results of a classroom research. And here you can see the main points of the presentation. And first of all, I would like to emphasize some basic ideas in the beginning. So the aim is to provide or to present the students feedback on the flow-based pedagogical model, which was created by my researcher colleague, Dalma Dominek, but I would like to speak about it. I'm going to speak about it in detail later. And the development of digital competencies and the appearance of AI in education require higher attention in education. And the appearance of Gen Z in education brings the necessity to change, or the necessity of change and transformation in education, you know. And the digital revolution, of course, has a great impact on labor market. Therefore, new professions emerge on the labor market. And what is the common aim? The common aim at our university is to achieve a student-centered paradigm shift in pedagogy. And so let me, so I would like to just speak about the concept of some basic ideas, some basic concepts related to the research. So first one is the flow. So according to Csikszentmihalyi, so the person who can experience the current becomes involved in his or her activity, that it becomes effortless, spontaneous, and offers the pleasure of the perfect experience. That is why this experience is called flow. The second one is creativity, which is also influenced by thinking skills and personality factors. And you know, the 21st century is also, but the aim is to preserve our innate motivation, innate curiosity, and desire to learn, to discover, that is genetically encoded in us. And in addition to Csikszentmihalyi, according to Szilárd Suhajda, who was a Hungarian climber, but unfortunately he died last year. So, but what did he think about flow? So being up is not only about discovering the unknown and the world. So it is about discovering yourself. You get lost, but find yourself. You discover new states of body and soul, past, present, and future are reinterpreted. You are reborn. Okay, that's enough and all about the first ideas or concepts in the beginning of the presentation. And I'm going to focus on the main purpose of this presentation, that is why do we need change? Why do we need change? So here you can see how Gen Z looks like nowadays in the classroom, if their teaching is maintained in a traditional way, so they are bored, but and during the break they use their mobile, their cell phones without any communication. So it's time to do something. Therefore, so in order to capture their attention or to maintain their motivation, to develop their competitive attitude, a wide range of ICT platforms are used in the classroom, for example, in this case, in languages for specific purposes. And in addition to the ICT platforms, we use the flow-based pedagogical model, which was created by my researcher colleague, Dalma Dominek, at the university. And according to, and this model has 4 different parts: educational content, teaching methods, different activities for the development of competencies, and it consists of different ideas how to measure and assess the students' academic or school achievement. So according to the results of the research, our research, based on the flow-based pedagogical model, the success is guaranteed in acquiring or capturing the students' attention, capturing their motivation. And about the research, we measured the flow state of the students in digital and traditional environment, teaching environment, to measure their vocabulary development with the use of self-made pre and post tests. And we measured their learning style, but the analysis of the results is in progress in this case. But we measured their flow, their individual flow state with a questionnaire which was validated by Magyaródi and her colleagues, but adapted by Dalma Dominek. And in a nutshell about the questionnaire. So this questionnaire has 20 items. And this 20-item questionnaire can be divided into two factors. The first one measures the characteristics of the topic of challenge and competence. And the other one measures the students merging into the action. And here you can see that classroom research was conducted last year. And the framework of this classroom research. So yes, with the involvement of full-time students coming from the Faculty of Law Enforcement and Faculty of Military Science and Officer Training. So they are coming from different years, year 1 and 2. They have B2 intermediate language exam. They have the same teacher at the Faculty of Law Enforcement and the same teacher to the other faculty. And the student group, in student groups, the teaching material was maintained with the use of AR, augmented reality, and built on the flow-based pedagogical model. But in the control group, the teaching material was done in a traditional way, pen and paper, and without the use of flow pedagogical model. It was the case it was the structure at the Faculty of Law Enforcement, but in contrast with it, at the Faculty of Military Science, this structure was different in a way that the teaching material was not built on the flow pedagogical model. Okay, we measured if traditional or internet-based solutions provide better help for students in acquiring their vocabulary development in ESP classes. We researched how the use of flow pedagogy model influenced the development of the students' individual flow state. Is the teacher able to achieve greater flow with students in a digital or traditional teaching environment? And we assumed that the use of digital technologies has a positive effect on the development of the students' vocabulary, knowledge, communication skills, digital competencies, and their flow state. Now we should move on the results. Yes, here you can see the results of the would-be police officers in case of test 1, where the topic was severe disorder, and where you can see that the values of the students' individual flow state based on the two factors I mentioned, challenge, competence, merging into action, are higher than 80%. And it's important to emphasize that we can speak about flow state or when the values are over or above 80%. So so it was okay in the study groups, but in contrast with it, in the control group, the values are less than 80%. So what does it mean? It means that students perceived the process of the learning material with the use of ICT tools and the use of flow-based pedagogical model as a challenge and competence, and learning what was taught as an experience by themselves. But however, in case of the would-be military officers, as you can see the results of their flow state in both study and control group are less than 80%. And you know, the teaching material was not built on the flow-based pedagogical model. So it means that students did not perceive the process of learning with or without ICT tools and without the flow-based pedagogical model as a challenge and competence, and learning was not stored as an experience by themselves.
Dear
Now,
Nora,
just
sorry.
a little bit, yeah.
Dear Nora,
How
you
much
have
time?
just
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Oh, it's enough for
Yeah.
me. It's
Okay,
enough for
thank
me.
you. Thank you.
Okay. Now here you can see that the vocabulary development in case of would-be police officers. So the vocabulary development is done. It's okay, and with the involvement of ICT and with the involvement of the flow-based pedagogical model. In case of the would-be military officers, so the vocabulary development is also okay. It was maintained, but with the involvement of ICT or not ICT tools, without the use of flow-based pedagogical model. As a conclusion, so we can say that with the use of or the application of this model in digital teaching environment, the student's flow state is achieved, their vocabulary development, their digital competencies are maintained. In contrast with it, without the application of this model, regardless of the teaching environment, with or without the use of ICT, so their vocabulary development and the digital competencies development are maintained, but they did not perceive learning as a challenge, and the learning was not sought as an experience by themselves. As a conclusion, so it's time to deal with starting the implementation of the flow pedagogy model, where the teaching and learning is perceived by students as a challenge and an experience. And that's all, I think. And thank you for your attention. But I'm sorry, because I have a meeting in a half an hour, so I have just some minutes so far. Okay.
Okay.
So but if you have any questions, you can see our email addresses. So if you like, write us and we try to answer them. Okay.
Okay, thank you, dear Barnix. It was again an inspiring presentation, and we tried to understand the impact of ICT tools on students' lexical skills. So the data you provided was very significant. And following our final presentation, I'd like to say thank you again for all the papers presented today and our speakers. And today's insights are all important to understand the new communication landscape, I guess. And now I'd like to start discussion session. So if you have any question, you may raise your hand or share your questions in the chat. Also for our speakers, if you have some questions for other speakers, then you can also do the same. So far, no question. We couldn't get. But Nora, it was very interesting when you said, during class time, we saw a photograph of students, they were sleeping, and in the break time, they were, surfing the net. However, in our classes,
Oh,
they
no,
are
no, no, no.
sleeping and surfing at the same time in class time. So it was
Okay.
No,
different.
but I could bring. Yes, it's
So,
different. Yes, it's different,
mhm.
and it was downloaded by on the internet, but I could bring you a picture, but it's not happened. So when students are using AR in the classroom, so it's worth uh, uh,
Mhm, mhm.
seeing these pictures. Okay,
Okay, thank you again.
thank you.
I guess we don't have any questions, so it means that our all presentations were very understandable for our participants, I mean attendees. So before closing this session, I'd like to express my thanks to the attendees as well for their participation and engagement. Together, we are advancing our understanding in new media and communication. See you next year, again in another conference on communication. And have a nice day.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for moderation,
Thank you.
Asuman Hoca.
Okay, thank
See
you
ya.
too.
Thank you for the
Okay, thank
opportunity.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.